this is Judy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be making the card making workshop from Storybook, and I'll walk you through one of each card, even though the kit makes 4 of each card, so you make 16, 4 of each of these designs. So let's see what's in the kit. You get this stamp set and 2 thin cuts, all the directions, the cutting guide, and then picture of the card, the dimensions, where everything's placed, all the specific directions. Trying to see what the optional technique is. Stamp pad painting. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to cut everything up and then I'll be back. If you have any questions about how to cut one of the Close to My Heart kits, I do have a video that I'll try to remember to link, but it's one of my first videos. It's like Close to My Heart Kits 101. And it tells you how to read these directions with the cutting directions that are all included with it. And this is a zip strips. Then it gives each pad and paper how to cut them and all of the cardstock. And you even get some glitter paper with this one, into the white daisy and the thin cuts and everything. So it's very detailed, easy to follow. If you're unfamiliar with it, though, it can be kind of daunting. So let me know if you have any questions, but I'll get it all cut and be right back. First thing is I wanted to show you what's in the kit. This is the stamp set, and has quite a bit of little pieces, and then the 2 thin cuts, and that's the size they are. You get a selection of acrylic stars, all of the envelopes that you need, the card bases, the glitter cardstock, piece of mulberry, and I think that is the mist, Seabrook, the white daisy, and then the bulk paper from this paper collection. So you get the stripe on one side and the stars on the other, and you get 2 of those. All right, so now I will get them cut. I got card number 1 ready to go, and we have this piece that's going to be stamped with the hearts. This piece is going to be stamped with the border of diamonds and stars, which is a really cool stamp. It's this one right here. I really like it. It's unique. That don't have anything like it. I always like those ones I don't have anything comparable without making it all on my own, right? We're also going to stamp let's see, here by Queen of Everything. Got to get my glasses to look at that a little closer. And this one is the frog, and we make it into a girl with the lips and the crown and some eyelashes. So that's really cute. They give you all the little pieces that go with it to make it for the queen or the king. So let's get to stamping. So let's see, I pulled out my mulberry, and it says do on the light side of mulberry, so that'd be this side, and we're going to do random stamping. Got my scrap paper, and random stamping, I usually just go in a border diagonal type design. Some people will go in a triangle and do 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. I like to have more of a not so random order of that, I guess. So that looks good to me. And if you go off the paper, it makes it a little more look like it, was cut from a larger piece that was a patterned paper. And I'm just going to lightly go around the edges with my ink. I like to always edge the ink, ink the edges of my paper. I just like the way it distinguishes it. All right, so we're done with that one. Now for the Seabrook, and we're going to use the light side and the Seabrook ink. And we're going to go along the top, and I can't see it on my white, on the light Seabrook with the white. I can't see the border edge of my paper without getting right over it with my head. I'll have to go off. Here we go. Okay, so that's really cool. Now we're going to stamp Hereby Queen of Everything. So we'll bring in the black ink. And stamp set. We're going to take this one off so I can use the other ones. And it's Hereby. We'll set it up on here so we know where the spacing is. And Queen of Everything. So I like how they have different sentiments to put together for what you want to say. And I'm going to stamp these separately so that I make sure I get them where I want them. And I think I'll do Queen first because that's the important one. And I would say that that is, now if I had my Versamat over on the other side, I could use that, but I don't. So, this will be an eyeball it. So if I do Hereby Queen of Everything, all right, we're just going to go with it right around there. It might be a little bit low. So now we'll do the Hereby, and there is a line on my block of where to line your stamp up so that it's level, and that looks good. So now we're going to do Of Everything, and we'll use the bigger block, and you can see the line right there. But I think this one lays pretty even. So now it again will be an eyeball. That looks good. Yeah, I did all right for not being able to get my head right over the top of it. So I'm going to ink the edge with the Seabrook. I need a dauber. Let's see, this one looks like a comparable color. You can see how I ink the edges so much. I wear my little daubers right down to nothing. And I'm just going to get it inked up and rub it off so it's the correct color. And then I'll put it on here, and this will keep the ink on here rather than have it absorb into the paper. By rubbing it on my lid, it helps distribute the ink throughout the dauber so it doesn't have a real intense color when I first put it on my paper. So let's pull in the card pieces. There's that piece. I have to do the frog on, so we still need to stamp the frog. He sits on there pretty nicely. And I've not used any of these stamps before. I should have tested those words, but they came out pretty good. I'm going to stamp them onto a scrap piece here. What's nice about the white is I could always flip it over if it doesn't stamp perfectly. We need to do the crown, and we're using the black ink because if we use the color, it didn't get it lined up. You know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to do a mulberry crown. I'll test that. And you might be able to get it lined up just about perfect. Oh, that looks good. Okay. So I'm happy I did that. And we're going to add some eyelashes. I'm going to try to get this lined up. cute. It wasn't perfect, but it's good enough. And hopefully I'll be able to get this one up in the same area. It'll be the way I look with fake eyelashes. One's good and one's not, usually. Okay, so eyelashes are good. Now let's do the lips, which is this tiny itty bitty little stamp here. And this one does need to be lined up really perfectly. Came out pretty good. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else we need to add. We did that. We did the lips, the eyelashes, the crown. Everything else looks good. Okay, the stamped image has to be colored with the ink. And our paper, the White Daisy, is not a watercolor paper. So if you go lightly, you can still use it with watercoloring. You don't want to go over an area a lot with water because it could pill the paper, so be mindful of that. I'm going to turn my Versamat over so that I don't get water on the squishy side. Okay, so I squeeze the ink into the lid, and you can see it here. So we're just going to add a little bit of water here. And we're going to see how colored that is. Oh, that looks good. It's a nice light color. The more water, the lighter the color will be. And you can get more shaded areas by using a lighter and a darker ink coloring with this. But in the directions, they say to use mist as a shading color, so we'll do that too. Okay, squeeze it. Let's get some ink into the cover here. I'm going to squeeze some water into my brush. I want to go light first. I can always go darker, but I can't lighten it up once it's on there. Sometimes with watercolor you can blot it off and it will lighten up if you get it quick enough. But this, with the ink technique, it really colors the paper almost immediately, so it's hard to change it if you get it too dark. So, and you can also practice on some scratch paper. I'm going to really add some deeper color there to give it some extra definition. Okay, so now we're going to do the eyes, and there's not much water there, so I'm good. I don't want to put my lid back on if there's a lot of water on it. You want to kind of soak that up. I'm going to use the mulberry now for the eyes and the cheeks. Oh, the eyes are missed. Okay, so we'll have to go back. And the cheeks are the mulberry. That looks cute. Now they didn't add anything on the bottom for it to sit on, so it kind of looks like the frog is sitting up in the air, doesn't it? So we're going to add just a little bit down at the bottom. We'll give her some really nice blue-green eyes. didn't add mulberry to my lips. I'm gonna have to go back and do that. Oh, we're gonna do the bottom first. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just do swooshes of color. Just give our frog a little lily pad type thing here for him to sit on, or her to sit on. It's a little grounded. So now I got to do the lips, and I'm going to ink the edges. Now this is going to be layered on top of the gold glitter piece. This is going on the bottom, then this, and this piece. I'm also going to ink the edges of this, and I think I will do it in the mulberry as well, because that's what we did that layer with. I'm again going to rub this on here to get it evenly distributed. And that's just something new that I discovered. I think especially with the blender brushes, it's important. Because I was taking the ink and spreading it onto some paper, but that was wasting the ink. So I find using my lid for the regular inks and the Distress Oxide keeps the ink in the lid rather than onto paper, so I'm not wasting that ink. So now we're going to glue this down. I'm going to be very careful not to add a lot of glue because you don't want your card to buckle. But I really like using the liquid glue. I think it's has a tendency to hold the paper longer than the tape runners do. It gives me just that second of wiggle room to make sure that's right. Get this all nice down. I like to spread the adhesive end to end to make sure none of those corners will lift. And if you get it lined up on one end, it should be, so there's just a little bit too much on this end, so let's overcompensate that end too. And that should be better. There we go. Press it with the bone folder and that will help to adhere it down. Another tip for getting a card that you use liquid glue on to make sure it adheres down really well is to run it through your embossing machine. It'll just flatten it right out and get that glue really adhered. Sometimes that'll work with tape runner as well. That's good. So let's see what they suggest to adhere to the glitter paper. So 1E to 1D. Yep, it's foam tape. All right. I know glue dots work well. Liquid glass will adhere. We don't want it to sag, so let's be a little generous with these. So now this is going to go on here. kind of want to cover up that star border. I really like that star border. Okay, so that looks good. Now the acrylic stars are also going to be used on this card. So these are the stars that I showed that come with it. And they're saying to color them with the lightest coral shades blend marker, tri-blend marker. So let's pull that out. And it's the lightest coral shades. And we're going to color 3 of them. I'm going to get them all out for all of the cards. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 little ones. Let me get my tweezers to hold it down. I'll have coral fingers. You let it dry and go over it with another coat that makes it a little more solid. Otherwise it can be a little bit streaky. They look pretty good. So let us adhere these down. And they've got 1 down here. And 1 up here. And another 1 up here. Okay. It's going to be a big one, a medium one. Medium one, and a small one. So that's card number 1. Now I'll move on to 2. All right, card number 2 is this one, and it was really simple, same kind of techniques as with the first one. So you put the 1 piece down, and I did ink the edges. And this piece is going to go across here. And they tell you where to put it. It's up 1 3/4 of an inch. So I can see in my Versamat here's 1 3/4. And then this piece did the random stamping with the star image, dovetailed this piece, and then stamped the sentiment. So it was nothing new there. To dovetail it, I fold it and then snip it up. A lot of times ladies will cut in and then go side to side. But I sometimes don't get it straight, and then I'm snipping and cutting and trimming, and sometimes I trim off more than I should. So I find giving it a slight bow and bending it that way, it works out well for me. So that's what I do. Okay, now the new thing we did with this was using the blender brush, and this is just a random makeup brush, but it's one that I'm using for these colors until I decide to get rid of it and go with all the close to my heart ones. This one will do. So this is what I was talking about, is I'll rub it on the ink pad and then on the lid to distribute the ink and all the bristles so that I don't have to go off onto the paper. And then it gives you that soft look. And you just want to create a little shadowing background color for the crown that we're going to put here. And this is the crown out of our gold glitter paper. It's just gorgeous. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it. And I do tap it off on scrap paper in case I got too much glue in any area. I don't want it to ooze out. And then I will flip it over and put glue on this side to glue onto the mist layer. right. And now we'll put a little bit of foam on here. And I brought out some fun foam. Just put a little glue on there, and then we can pop it on here. So that inking really adds a nice touch to the crown. Nice shadowing for it to sit on. And then we're just going to add the stars. And I looked in the directions while I was off camera, and it has you coloring all of the stars, so I just went ahead and colored them all. So you didn't have to sit and watch that. This color goes really well with this paper collection. Just tap it off and put it right there in the corner, and that card is done. So I want to show you card number 1 that I finished, and I added a few extra things to it. I put some googly eyes on it, and I put some stickles on the crown, and I used my paintbrush to brush it on so I could make sure that it would stay within the lines. I also used a journaling pen to outline the crown. Now the one I was trying to use liquid glass because it dries as a dimensional adhesive, so it looks like glassy eyes, and then I put just a little touch of liquid pearls black in the center for the pupil, and that came out cute too, but I do like the googly eyes. So now we will move on to card 3. Card number 3 is cuter than the Dickens, right? Isn't he cute? Put googly eyes on him as well. I cut this panel too short. I don't know why, but it should go all the way down to the blue, but I think it looks fine like it is. It almost looks like a Polaroid. And I did stamp the king in the mist ink instead of the black. I like how it looks. And I did put a little crown on him, which was not in the original layout for the card. The original card had it in black, and you can see how it fits the whole panel, and there was no crown on him. And I did also add a little something with the ink for him to sit on. And this one, I tried to shadow it with that ink, and I didn't get it set quite right, so I didn't do it anymore. This one is the same. I put that down a little farther on this one. And same with this one, so they're pretty cute. Okay, card number 4 was not much new on this one either. Let's see, the original design is here. They did a lot more stamping on theirs than I did, and I did put a border up here. And then I used the stars to put one at the top of the crown. And I only made one of these because I don't know how many I'll use that say to the king and queen. That'd be nice for a anniversary though. But I use the thank you cards a lot, so I brought my thank you one out and used that. And I did 2 borders on this one. And then I added just a few sprinkles of the Stickles diamond glitter, and that really added some pizzazz to it. And then I put the stars on both ends of the sentiment and a star on the crown. This one got 3 stars because I had that many left, and I didn't put any stickles on that, so you can see the difference. I like the stickles, so I'll probably add some stickles to this one. So I'll put close-ups at the end. Hope you enjoyed that. This is a really cute card kit. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.